Hi everyone, welcome to Influence Colorist. As you can tell from this title, this will be a very different kind of video. I know there was a lot of crossover from the scrapbooking world to the coloring world, and I've mentioned in a few videos that I used to be very big into scrapbooking. After starting my coloring obsession 4 or 5 years ago, I lost motivation for scrapbooking and have fallen seriously behind. Watching my kids grow before me, I feel like I rely on Facebook and social media to play the historian, which is not what I want. So this month I've decided to get motivated and start scrapping. If you watched the tour of my coloring space, you will see I have a ton of supplies. They're just waiting to be used. I'm also really wanting to try digital scrapbooking, so I might do more recent years digitally and then continue with the normal scrapbooking from the year I left off, which was 2014. Ugh! I've had a request to show some of my layouts, and so I thought I would share a few of my Halloween layouts. Halloween is my favorite thing to scrap. The papers and the embellishments are just so fun. I will do a quick layout to show you my process and hopefully motivate and inspire others out there like me that need a little push to fall in love with scrapbooking again. My style. I consider myself to be a pretty lazy scrapper. I tend to stick with kits or make my own kits, which I'll show you later in the video. I like to utilize my scraps of paper and not cut into full sheets unless I absolutely have to. Confession, I'm a paper hoarder. I use minimal embellishments and I tend to just find things in kits instead of making my own. I also don't like to journal, so you won't see much of that on my pages. Just a title, a date, and maybe some stickers or ribbons with some words on there. All right, so for this layout, this is 2009. These layouts were done so long ago, so I really can't give you any brands that I used. Even if I could, the product probably wouldn't be around anymore. I can tell you that for many of the layouts, I use sketches from Scrapbook Generation and Allison Davis. Finding those on Pinterest. After doing close to my heart for so long, I looked for other sketches and found these, which really work with my style and how I like to scrap. So the pictures stay pretty much centered along this horizontal plane. I have 4 4x6 pictures and 1 4x4. I also really love this way to scrapbook because I'm not cutting down the photos too much. I tend to like to use the full photo. I did matte the photos, so there's a slight matte of black cardstock. And it just helps bring out the pictures a little bit more against the pattern paper. So the pattern paper, the base is a 12x12 pattern paper. And then the centerpiece is also a 12x12, just cut to allow for that double page spread. There is also a strip going horizontal, and this is cut from a 12x12. It looks like it's probably 4 inches wide. And for embellishments, I used stickers to create this little flag banner and some bakery twine. There's also some chipboard elements and a Halloween rub-on. And this little house looks like it is just a little paper cutout house. And it looks like these are rub-ons too. So the pattern paper would just be this kind of orange with this green speckled design on here. And I pulled the house probably because of this paper here. So this is going to be kind of fun. You get to see my kids grow up. I always like to show the pumpkin carving. I usually show the final project, but I don't see the final pumpkin glowing here. But my daughter was a witch and my son was some kind of skeleton pirate. All right, for this layout, this will be 2010, and for the pictures, I used one 4x6 and the rest were cut down to 4x4s. Matted against some very thin orange cardstock. The base is black cardstock, and then I used pattern paper, a 12x12 cut down, this probably is like a 10x10, and then again cut down the middle to allow for that double page spread. And then we have also a horizontal strip going down this way. And then again, utilizing some smaller strips of paper for just another border. For embellishments, I have little clusters here. I try to stick with doing 3 clusters. You're supposed to do in the design world is the triangle form. So this actually probably should have been here. That way it would have made a triangle, but that's all right. I think I've done it on other pages. So we have some stickers, some numbers for the date, and some little sparkly like rhinestone brads. All right, so for this one, this was 2011. My son was the Headless Horseman. My daughter was a candy corn witch. These were pictures taken at their school carnival. And most of these pictures are 4x4, and then we have one 4x6. The background is a web design, monochromatic, just black cardstock with this kind of embossed web. You can see it's very shiny when the light hits it. Most of the pictures, again, are centered in the double page spread. This one also has more of a horizontal line to it with some pattern papers. Again, this could be cut from a 12x12. It could also be cut from an 8x8 pad or a 6x6 pad because they're small. So, well, I guess it does kind of go across here. So it was probably a 12x12 piece of paper that I cut down, wanting to leave that nice strong border around. Again, not much journaling. I just have used some things that were in kits. Spectacular. And then here's like a little cluster of embellishments. We have some chipboard elements and stickers. So here would be a good rule of the triangle. I have something here, here, and here, which makes up a triangle. All right, this will be 2012. Again, using mostly 4x6 photos. There's a 4x5 and then a 4x4. A couple of them are matted, just so your eye kind of helps go from one page to the next. But I didn't feel like those needed to be matted. Again, most of the photos are centered along the double page spread. We have most of them going vertically, and then a couple of them to kind of stretch it out on the sides, and then opposite, kind of diagonal from each other. The paper for the base, I used a pattern paper, and then there's paper behind here. So this was probably cut from a 12x12. And then we have this strip along here with some smaller strips of paper and some ribbon to help with the border. Embellishments, we have stickers, some more rub-ons, and just another little cluster of stickers here. Let's see. Both my kids seem to be in the zombie here. We have a zombie princess and a zombie football player or skateboarder here. My son was so proud he did that makeup himself. Oh, and I have a bat that looks like it fell. We'll put you back up here. All right, the last layout is from 2013. So here I have, again, mostly 4x6. These might be 4x5s here, and then a 4x6 there. Only these were matted. And then here is some ribbon to help create some of those borders also. And again, we have pictures of my son carving the pumpkin. My daughter looks like she was a maybe vampire. And then my son was Jack Skeleton. We do a projector movie on our garage door on Halloween, so it's fun. We have neighbors come over and we all just hang out, pass out candy, and then watch a movie on the garage. So embellishments, we have stickers and these little chipboard elements. All right, so that's it for my 5 Halloween layouts. And next I will be doing a layout so you guys can see kind of my process and how I do it. All right, so I talked a little bit about how I like to use kits or how I make my own kits. So this is what I was talking about. I put all my papers and pictures for the layout that I want into a little, it's not little, I guess it's a big, probably like 13-inch like Ziploc bag, which I got a lot of these from Close to My Heart or from other scrapbooking kits. I just would save them. So the reason I started doing this was because back in the day, I used to get together with friends. We would scrapbook at each other's house, or we would go up to someone's cabin and you would just, for like a little scrapbook retreat, and you would just scrap like all night long. So it's hard when there's like a bunch of you going up for a retreat to take all your supplies. Like, you know, it's hard to figure out which supplies you want to take. You have to kind of narrow things down. And then it's hard when you're working on a layout because it's like you want to finish that layout, but you need some supplies at home that you've left at home. So I kind of came up with this idea of how I organize everything. So once I have all my photos printed that I want for my photos, I kind of go through the year and just put everything together. So I make these little sheets here so I know what layouts that I want to do. I usually always do the important holidays and any little milestones, birthdays, school stuff. So then I kind of list everything that I want to scrapbook for that year. And then I use these little strips of paper, and it has the sketch that I want to do. So for instance, like Halloween, I know I want to use these pictures. I may not use all of them, but for the most part, these are the pictures that I want to use. So then I'll go online, go on Pinterest, or create my own layout sketch. This one I wrote down on here. I found it on Pinterest. The title of it, My Blog by Maria Saxon, and then number 2, because there was probably multiple in there. And then I kind of just sketch it out, and then I write down what papers that I want to use, and I put all of that together into a kit. So I might spend like a couple days going through my photos, going through the paper, pulling out the papers that I want to use, and then making the kits. And that way, if I do end up going somewhere, if I go on a retreat or someone's house, or even if I'm just at home, it's worked out really well. When I have time, then I just grab these kits. I already know how I want to cut everything because of this, and then I can just do it. So it takes time to create all the kits, but then I feel like I don't have to spend that much time when I'm ready to go. So especially if you have limited space, I know sometimes it can get very messy scrapbooking with all your supplies laid out. So this is all contained into a little kit once you have it completed. And when you have time, you just get out this little kit and then work on it one at a time. All right, so first things first, so on here it says my base is going to be the eyes. So that is going to be this paper. And I can already tell I need to trim some of this off here. So I'm going to do that. This cutting, or this paper trimmer, I can't find it anymore, although I can find replacement blades. I don't like the little one blade. This is like a rotary blade, a wheel. I like to know exactly where my paper is being cut, and I know that this is going to cut right on the edge here. So it doesn't always cut the most evenly, and my blade is really old, so it may fray just a little bit. So I think I saw that you can get replacement blades, but unfortunately I cannot find this trimmer anymore. Okay, so here is my base paper. All right, I'll go ahead and speed up the video and talk over. So I'll be taking some of these pattern papers and color cardstock and making cuts according to my layout. Now, some of them I do have exact measurements. For this one, I don't, so I kind of just eyeball it to what I think looks best. All right, I couldn't quite decide how I wanted the orange paper, so I'm going to trim it just a little bit. I know I want it in the center there. So next I'm going to take my pictures, kind of lay them out. I know I'm going to trim these to 4x4s. And I'll keep this one a 4x6. All right, now I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to keep two of these photos horizontal 4x6s, and then so these other ones will fit good. I have to trim those down to about 3x6s, and then they all fit nicely. So I think this orange paper will look nice in the back, creating a nice orange frame around these middle photos. So I'll just trim that, lay my photos out, make sure everything fits good, and then now I can tape. So this tape gun is my favorite tape gun. I think it's a must-have in the scrapbooking world. It is a 3M ATG tape dispenser. Tape is relatively inexpensive for how much you get in a roll. All right, and then also that edge that I cut off on that orange paper, cut off some of that black distress edge. So I just take some Tim Holtz black ink and distress the edge. All right, laying everything down and putting my pictures on here, I noticed that I think it needs a little bit more border around some of the edges where the orange and the purple meet. So I have all my Halloween scrapbooking elements, embellishments in this envelope. So I found some Halloween ribbon that I'll lay down to kind of cover that edge. Use that tape dispenser, and now I can tape down my photos. All right, so I'm going to gather my Halloween embellishments and just pick a few things that I think will look nice in a couple of these areas. For my title, I found some spooky kind of Halloween lettering, and I think I'll put Beware and just stick those down. There's some little tickets and stickers that have the skull and crossbone. It says poison. I thought that was good because my son is dressed up like he's ready for some kind of chemical warfare. So just adding these elements and the date. All right, and then I think I'll put one more embellishment on the picture. It is going to be a rub-on that says Gone Hunting. Alrighty, all done with this layout. I hope I inspired some of you to get out your scrapbooking and start scrapbooking again, or if you've never scrapbooked, I hope I inspire you to start. It's really a lot of fun and just another way to be creative. So thanks everyone for watching, and happy Halloween!